Alright everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. We will unpause and then repause it, of course. We have multiple things that we've got to cover today. Not as busy a news cycle as the other day was. It's a little bit more on the slow side right now, but we do have to talk about the incoming potential SNAPocalypse, as they're calling it. That could be a major thing. Yes, this could be politically a difficult issue. U.S. military strikes 4 boats in the Pacific, killing 14 in a ramp-up of campaign against alleged drug trafficking. I like how they use the term alleged. It's like, you probably know why those boats are coming to U.S. territorial waters. Robert Reich is wrong as usual. Zoran Mamdani represents the future of the Democratic Party. In other words, according to Robert Reich, effectively, it has no future whatsoever. And we'll talk about Trump and his crown here from South Korea, actually. Trump has likened himself to a king. South Korea gave him a crown. Yeah, they're trolling the No Kings protesters, by the way. None of these people got the memo. None of them seem to understand the humor behind it, but it's funny anyway. We can talk about Bill Gates potentially. This is a Fox News article, though, so they sort of they contort what Bill Gates is saying here, actually, with regards to climate change. He thinks that, of course, disease will be the demise of mankind, and so they're construing that as, well, climate change is now off the table. They're only partially right on this particular one. I've warned people about Fox News before. I have done so. I have been unsuccessful. So yeah, we get a lot of shit to talk about actually today, honestly. But it's less than the other day. Thankfully, the other day it's like you get 12 news articles, right? And you can only cover like 7 or 8 of them and actually still interact with people that are interacting with your channel. Other days, you'll get like 20 news stories, you can't even cover half of them. But some days it's like, it just sort of fits right. This is one of those days, I am happy to say. Rabitha Quantifa says, "Oh snap, I'm about to eat your ass." Yeah, indeed, there might be cannibalism, I suppose, over the SNAPocalypse, which could be coming through. Mark Rudkin, "Arise, Tarl, educator of men who sees through propaganda and manipulation." Thank you for the recognition. Yeah, I see through it. Unfortunately, there's a hell of a lot of it. And most people are incapable of doing so, actually. Nordic Pagan Soldier to Sigil. They smuggle fentanyl. So does Ukraine. Yeah, the drug trade is definitely a good way to fund wars and stuff like that. Happens all the time. Ukraine does it. Russia does it. Israel does it. Palestine does it. The Chinese do it. Taiwanese do it. It happens all over the world. Basically, people like drugs. And there's no way to snuff them out. This is why I'm not a fan of the drug war. CP Semple, "I'm going to eat pussy for November 1st. Congratulations. I hope it's a nice one. Tea. I love that Yunnan jig. I can't get enough of it. It's like you brew it off in the morning and you just continue drinking it throughout the day. Gives you a bit of caffeine. It's delicious. It's basically like being at a Chinese restaurant on steroids. That's what I'm talking about. "Eat da pussy," says Barack Obama. Yeah, I mean, you never trust a man who doesn't want to go down, so to speak. Just saying. That's one of the most wonderful things that you can ever experience in your life, going down on a chick, you know? I don't understand men that don't like it. I think that maybe they're secretly gay or something like that. It must be some sort of projection. Just saying. So yeah, we're going to be getting to, first we'll get into the SNAP benefits. How grocery buddies are feeding families at risk of losing SNAP benefits amid the government shutdown. Yes, as the Schumer shutdown continues, the Democrats are throwing a temper tantrum and pretending that the Republicans are responsible for the fact that poor people will no longer get food assistance. This is a blatant lie. It is completely fabricated. This is not the Trump shutdown. This is the Schumer shutdown. Democrats are throwing a temper tantrum over healthcare issues. They're trying to maintain certain benefits with regards to the expanded Medicaid slash Medicare slash Obamacare thing for people that are not legally in the country at all. This is true. This is something that is objective. It is not up for debate. But they are proclaiming that Donald Trump is the one that is trying to take food away from poor people. I personally believe, I actually agree with the liberals in one sense on this. It is a terrible, terrible, for politically pragmatic reasons only, it would be a terrible idea to try to take SNAP benefits away from the poor. It will not go over well. It cannot end well. Politically speaking, and ethically speaking, of course, it's not a good idea. I would extend those benefits. Schumer is correct on at least one thing, which is that there is discretionary spending available to actually continue funding the program. It is one of the few welfare programs the government has ever made that actually brings reasonable return. That is that if you spend $1, you're getting 95 cents back. Okay, that's a lot more efficient than the average government program. Just fucking fund it. That would be my advice. The Trump administration may or may not follow through with that, and that's the problem. The shutdown is being blamed squarely on the Trump regime simply because Trump happens to be in office. And the Democrats keep hammering it forth. Well, you control the House, you control the Senate. Why can't you pass a budget? I mean, the filibuster does exist, so, this is a misnomer, so to speak. But at the same time, the average person doesn't know anything about how the Senate functions. They don't know anything about Congress. They don't know anything about the courts. They don't understand the separation of powers. The average American is retarded with regards to the separation of powers. So it's going to be real difficult to make that actual pitch to the American people. Rambo, yay, my favorite pirate. Arr, matey. Arr. Yes, we got to get ourselves a schooner, something like that. We need to get a couple of frigates and sail them out. That's what I'm talking about. Schwarzlutzer, saugen eine Schroflinte, says Nordic pagan soldier to Sigil Stone. I can't pronounce that 100%. I'm pretty good at pronunciation usually, but I don't know exactly what you're saying, my friend. Yeah, Chinga tu madre, he says. That's what I'm talking about. I don't speak Kentler experiment either, says Sigil. I love it when people have fights in the comments section. It gives me joy. Hey, maybe he'll have to dip into the tariff funds. He'll have to make it work somehow. So far, it seems like the Trump administration isn't really inclined to actually dip into the issue at all. This is a problem, admittedly, politically, because there are millions and millions of people who will then go without food. This is going to be a rolling disaster if they don't do something about it. I would advise the Trump administration to free up those funds and then put the onus on the Democrats and say, look, we funded SNAP. We're making sure that you have healthy food. There are new regulations regarding it, but we're making sure that it's actually available. They're trying to take it away. They're the ones that are doing that. The Trump administration can literally knock it out of the park instantaneously. It would not be difficult whatsoever. But it doesn't look like the Trump administration is inclined to do so. Typical Republican move. CP Simple. I actually got WIC when I was a kid. That was, healthy food. It's basically, okay, here's your milk and your vegetables and shit like that. It's a weird program, but it does actually work. SNAP benefits are not generally misused. And in the off chance that they're misused, the cost to society pales in comparison to the benefits, I believe, to society. This is one thing on which I guess I'm a bleeding heart liberal or something with regards to food stamps. Czech Rumbler, hi Sticks. Greetings from the Czech Republic. Was listening to a live stream from 2 weeks ago and heard you were building a pirate ship. How's it going? By the way, do you still want the Viking ship? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes, it is actually in progress, although it got dropped and so I have to rebuild part of it. Whoops. Yeah, Czech Rumbler sent a Lego ship to me, and I haven't put the rigging up, but it is coming along nicely. I like the cannons and stuff. Robert, I say cut the benefits and let the games begin. Peace. Yeah, I mean, that would work if you had a heftier militia. Unfortunately, the United States has strayed from that at this time. Let's get to our sponsors, shall we? Before we get to the rest of the news. By the way, all of the news is archived. Link in the description. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. I take them every single day. You've also got Doggy Dose. Again, I still have to go out and, query people's dogs and be like, hey, you want this biscuit? Here, Fido, come and eat this. I guarantee that most of them will want to eat it. They smell pretty good, actually. You could probably make some human food out of them, too, just saying. We've got BiltongUSA.com. Anytime that Anton is mentioned, of course, we eat Bovrite, Vegemite, or Marmite. Delicious. He's got imports. Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs and tumblers are available as well. And then various kinds of meat. Wagyu, Angus, Cabanassi, bison. He's got pretty much everything available, so yeah, you can definitely get some delicious snacks from him. And then finally, jamandbean.com, jamnbean.com. You can get delicious tea. You can get delicious coffee. It smells so good. The Clank Blend, probably the finest coffee you will ever find in your fucking life. All sorts of stuff. Yeah, the Yunnan Jig is the best tea. Now, that's what I'm drinking now. Yunnan Jig, if you want something caffeinated. If you want something uncaffeinated, there's a jasmine tea, there are various green teas, other caffeine-free options, and so forth. Tarred and feathered. Best ad reads ever. Yeah, because I actually give a shit about the stuff that I'm actually advertising. Anton is there. Lemon curd, thank you. We were still busy, but almost done. Happy hump day. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you gotta do some humping there. Everyone, go out and fuck each other. Now, Vegemite's pretty good. Bovrite is definitely better, but it has a different usage, if that makes sense. Vegemite would be more what you would smear on toast. Bovrite, you can add that to a soup or something like that. They're not quite the same. They're just similar, you know. The Great Awakening, Sticks. My dog loves those dog treats. Yeah, I know. I've seen it before. I can vouch for it. Opinionated Junkie. We don't need food stamps. Rightoids. I've used food stamps before. And so I don't begrudge somebody who needs them, honestly. I refuse to look down on the poor because I've been in the same boat for a long, long time, actually. So I don't have a problem with that. I think it's crazy, actually, that the Trump administration is not trying to punt this particular issue. I'm not exactly sure what the strategy is, honestly. While I generally approve of Donald Trump, it's definitely going to become a problem. In only a couple of days, by the way. Right after Halloween. Patricia Giguere. Food stamps and welfare altogether were not meant to be a permanent solution. Sticks, you're just the type of person the Dems are counting on. Now, I'm saying that we finally do have a welfare-style program that more or less pays for itself. I do not believe in most welfare in the United States. Highly regulatory, inefficient, retarded. Food stamps, however, actually work. This is one of the few situations in which the government has actually made a program that does, generally speaking, act in an efficient manner. So I think that the Trump administration should continue it for two reasons. First, political pragmatism. If they don't continue it and people get cut off from SNAP, some of them probably will riot, and others will be disgruntled as a result of this. As well, number two, it's one of the few programs, again, that pays for itself more or less. So continuing it doesn't really take a lot of money or anything like that because everything is fed back into the system by taxes on the food that is purchased. As a result, the efficiency level is much, much higher than, for example, so-called housing assistance or something like that, or simply giving people benefits in general. It is important to eat food. It's generally acknowledged as being part of a balanced diet, actually eating food. U.S. military strikes 4 boats in the Pacific, killing 14 in a ramp-up of campaign against alleged, provable, drug trafficking. Good riddance. I have a feeling that this is a good idea. Here's what I would do if I was leading the Trump administration. I would say, you don't need to strike anything in Venezuela, and it looks like he's looking askance to actually doing that, which is good. That's good news. Instead, simply strike the boats. Make it unprofitable for them to attempt to cross. We will destroy you. We will fire rockets at your boat, and the amount of cocaine you've got in there is probably worth a lot more than the rocket that we have to launch at your ship. I think this is a good idea, honestly. I have no problem with it. These are narcos. So these are terroristic individuals who are trying to run drugs and sometimes human trafficking into the United States. I'm glad that we finally have an administration that's willing to take this seriously, honestly. Copium poppies. Candy corn. Yeah, I'm not surprised that you would post that. Tarred and Feathered said I missed the ad reads? No, I think that I read out my sponsors. Whiskey Biscuit. Sticks, I've been making tinctures from homegrown medicinal plants because fuck the weird OTC shit, and they fucking work. Do you have any recommendations for medicinal plants for the home garden? Chamomile is a big one. It's antimicrobial and antibacterial in nature. So chamomile's good. Making a tincture from that. By the way, I believe that Roman and German chamomile turn different colors when they're actually extracted. If I remember correctly, Roman chamomile turns blue and German chamomile turns yellow, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong on that, but they are different colors. You should definitely do like a chamomile extract. Basil is always a good one, mainly because it's tasty. So yeah, extract it anyway, and then drip it onto your pizza or something along those lines. Our people are saying that I might be glitching. Just a sec. Am I still live? Robert, I must opine. I was on food stamps for several months back in the day. And most people do not misuse it. Most people that are on food stamps are humiliated ritualistically when they have to use the food stamps card when they're in the checkout. I used mine mainly to get canned goods and things like that. That was only for a short time. I've definitely paid my due back 1,000 times over, so I don't have any particular regrets about this. But I don't begrudge somebody if you're poor, something like that, you get a bunch of kids, and you want healthy food. I'm not going to deprive them of that. I would much rather my money go to that than bombing people. So I don't give a shit. Whiskey Biscuit, you're correct. I've made one from German chamomile. Turns yellow and it's delicious. Ah, good. Yeah, I believe the Roman chamomile, the one that I grow, I believe it turns blue, actually. Last speaking, hey Sticks, late. Ping us. Everyone post ping us over and over again. Copium Poppies, Friday, Halloween. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Fuckery will be afoot. Link available at copiumpoppies.com. Countermanding you on Halloween, I will probably be doing a special live stream as well. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Ha ha ha. Spooky live stream. That's what I'm talking about. I would like air a movie or something like that, but I'm thinking I'd have to get one that is copyright free. Thankfully, there are plenty of spoopy movies that are copyright free. That's what I'm talking about. Like, Mr. Buster Pants, it's regularly abused, Sticks. You have scruples. Yeah, but most other people do. The thing is that some people will abuse the system, but they're still paying back into it anyway through taxes on whatever the fuck they're buying. I agree with the Trump administration, though, that food stamps should only be used for supplementary nutrition. So if you want to buy milk, if you want to buy carrots or something like that, some people don't even own a fucking stove, so for them it might be a little more of a problem. People are buying pre-packaged food and things like that. That needs to end. That needs to be not a thing. So yeah, the US military is striking more boats in the Pacific, killing people. Oh my god. It's such a terrible, terrible thing. Mostly it's in the Caribbean, but also it's in the Pacific Ocean as well. That's because the narcos are coming up on both sides. I don't care if they die. It means nothing to me. This is an article by Robert Reich, and when I bring up Robert Reich, it means that the opinion is going to be retarded, unfortunately. The dude even looks retarded, like he's a midget and, crazy shit like that. Zoran Mamdani represents the future of the Democratic Party. You're effectively saying that the Democratic Party doesn't have a future. Mamdani cannot help but fail. There is no possibility that he succeeds. He follows through, he fails. He doesn't follow through, he gets voted out, he fucking fails. Robert Reich, can you think of any other person in human history? Right wing, left wing, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what fucking country it is. Can you think of somebody who is more consistently wrong than Ronald Reich? Because I'm drawing a blank. Honestly, I can't think of one. When I look at Robert Reich, I'm like, okay, whatever you say, the opposite is probably true. Zoran Mamdani represents the future of the Democrats. Yeah, that's fucking a great idea. Democratic Party leaders like Chuck Schumer refuse to endorse Mamdani, and the New York Times wrongly cautions against him. Both are wrong. Yes, indeed. Let's take the communist from Uganda and make him the mayor of New York City. That will cast the Democratic Party in a really, really spectacular light. It won't alienate anyone. Nobody will think that it's odd. Nobody will think that it's wrong. And I'm sure that he'll do such a good fucking job and stuff like that. Dude, you are fucking insane at this point. He aims to generate $9 billion in new tax revenue by raising taxes on the city's wealthiest residents. Much like that article that I covered the other day saying, don't worry, the rich won't leave, which I agree with. No, it's the working class will pay. The townspeople are the ones that will suffer. And businesses. He's calling for a 2% tax on incomes more than $1 million, which would produce $4 billion in tax revenue. Why don't you just rob Albany some more? Yeah. He wants to increase the state's corporate tax rate to 11.5 to match New Jersey's, generating about $5 billion annually, until everyone leaves and then you are left with absolutely nothing. Robert Reich is a retard. Mamdani is a retarded communist. These people are literal communists. We've gotten to the point in the United States where if you call somebody a commie, which these people quite clearly are, they're pretty open about it, that nobody takes you seriously, actually. It's very, very strange. So yeah, I mean, if Mamdani is going to be the face of the Democratic Party, that's actually good. I like this because it means that the Democratic Party will continue to fail. And they will. There is no way that they can possibly survive with that kind of so-called leadership. Copium poppies. You're going to wear blackface for Halloween? I have thought about it. Lemon curd. Cope. He should keep the pale yellow that he has now. I'm normal colored. You remember that meme where they had they had this diversity poster. Apparently this was real, and it was like, it doesn't matter whether you're black, yellow, or normal colored, or something along those lines. Bristolian, Krugman. Yeah, if Krugman or Reich say anything, assume that the opposite is actually true. BW is saying sticks over and over again. What is it? Robert, I'm a man in a dress and I support sticks. Oh, I missed your chat. Sorry, BW. I'll get to it. Just a sec. Are we screwed, Sticks? You're the only Trumper who ain't happy. I'm actually very happy at the moment. No, we're not screwed. The thing is that the Democrats and the Republicans right now are basically in a pissing match to decide who can fuck one another harder. So the Democrats are trying to bash themselves in the head while the Republicans are kicking themselves in the nuts. And that's basically the political landscape that we deal with right now. Last beacon. I believe the rich will leave New York. They will get on down to the south and southern states, and then some of them will probably end up in Russia, being the lesser of two evils. And all that they will blame is Trump and January 6 and Jews. I don't think that that will actually happen. What I think that's going to happen is a nothing burger, like the SNAPocalypse that I talked about earlier. I don't think that it'll be a major thing. There'll be some looting and shooting and things like that, but I mean, we've seen that in far blue cities anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference now, does it? I think that there will be a sporadic amount of that. Overall, though, I think that the United States will be fine in the end. It's just a matter of getting through a period of extreme political polarization more than anything else. Yeah, the SNAP benefits thing is probably going to be a big issue, but I don't think it'll be as big. I think they're trying to astroturf it as though it will be. I think that what they're trying to do is to scare people that are on the right wing of politics into arming up and getting a loose trigger more than anything else. They're hoping for a terroristic incident or something along those lines. Guarantee it. They're hoping that somebody does something terroristic, because somebody decided to rob a store. They're hoping that somebody intervenes, and then they can use them as an example. Trump has likened himself to a king. South Korea gave him a crown. President Trump received a replica of a golden crown excavated from an ancient royal tomb in, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Gyeongju, I believe it's called. He called it very special. Yes, Donald Trump actually got a crown in South Korea just the other day. And the liberals are freaking out over this because they're likening this to their mythological, fictional sort of depiction of Trump as being interested in being crowned king. Yes, indeed, he will never relinquish power, and, so on and so forth. This is not going to actually happen. It's not possible for the United States to have a king under our current system. In order to amend it, if you were to want a king or a queen or something like that, you would have to amend the Constitution. That is not going to happen. You have too much political polarization for that to ever happen anyway. Donald Trump got a gift. Wow. Really, really funny. Now, the importance of this is that it looks like the South Korean leadership is effectively trolling the No Kings movement. By specifically giving Donald Trump a fucking crown, they're saying, haha, fuck you, stupid bastards. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't know what a king is. And it was really, really funny when I first saw this. At first I thought it was a joke. This happens more and more often these days, by the way. Thought it was basically humor. But it turns out this is actually real. They gave him an actual crown. Donald Trump, of course, has joked about being crown prince or king or something like that. But that's because other people that don't like him are constantly insinuating that that's what he wants, even though he has no such aspirations at all. And you can tell that he doesn't. He would have already picked those up and run with them if he did. But the left doesn't seem to understand this, so they think that getting a symbolic crown from Korea, or replica of some ancient imperial crown, is somehow politically meaningful. Snakes bleed red. All of them fat, skinny, rich, poor. If they have female in Cali, they have a food stamp card. It's insane. There are definitely people who misuse food stamps. I'm not contesting that. But what I'm saying is that most people who use food stamps, they do it reluctantly. They do it for a brief period of time. That's my case, for example. I've paid far, far more into the system than I ever drew out of it. And I didn't like having to use food stamps. It was humiliating. I mean, you whip out the food stamps card when you're paying for the food. Everyone knows, haha, this person's on food stamps. It's not a pleasant experience. There are some people that don't have a problem with that, but that's the minority in my experience. In Cali, females eat free off the government. Huh. Tarred and Feathered. Does a Snap card cover vegetables? I never see them in the cart. Yes, admittedly, a lot of people will choose low-end food when they're on SNAP benefits. For example, let's say that I was on SNAP. That was my supplementary, ability to gain food. Because of the cost, other than a few vegetables, a lot of them would sort of be out of your price range. You're probably getting fucking burritos and shit like that. Honestly, that's sort of the way it works. Shouldn't be, but is. We have to be realistic when we make public policies. Last beacon. Honestly, I'm waiting for it. Being any type of looting and shooting in my particular because I want to put some people in the ground, if you get what I mean. Good luck to you. Last speaking, I'm basically a cold-hearted misanthropist. At this point, I really don't care that much about humanity anymore. Trust me, I feel the same. But I do care about people. It's just that some people I care about more than others. And anyone who claims otherwise is lying to you, by the way. Chuck Flea, Goldwater is what happens when you aren't pragmatic. True. Shinny61607. I don't know what that refers to. Rabatha, you can be my king, Trumpy Poo. Is that referring to me? Sixicle. 06 is a salute. Oh, I've never seen the reference before. Last speaking, I know some people may be disagreeing with me, but when I've seen 5 years of this bullshit, it has changed my outlook on everything, especially with how both sides have handled COVID. Yeah, it's hard not to get blackpilled over the response to the China virus. I will admit to that. It's hard not to get blackpilled, but at the same time, I would like to believe, actually, we kind of dodged a bullet when you think about it. That was absolutely bioengineered. It was meant to be manufactured further, to be released to be much more virulent, but it got released earlier by Chang the janitor, and so we dodged the bullet. At least that's what I believe. Cyborg Dr. Phil. Oh, God. Shutdown is blamed on Trump because he is cutting government jobs. The right doesn't control the normie narrative. Yeah, the normie narrative is a pile of bullshit anyway. Cooking Inferno. Yeah, man. Sticks, what do you think of Sigil? Work to get revenge on someone. Personally, I've tried it before and it tends to work well, but I have a few notable exceptions. Lol. Yeah, I'm assuming you don't mean Sigil Stone. I think you mean sigils in, like, the paper sense. It works. Just saying. Focus of energy. That's the root of the occult. Last beacon. Honestly, trying to use citizens who want to intervene as an example just sickens me on the whole reason why I'm in this country in the first place. Yeah, but I mean, if you were in another country, you'd have something else that would be wrong. There's no such thing as a perfect society. It does not exist. I had to put up with 30 years of this bullshit from violent video games on up. I don't know what violent video games are. I don't know what that refers to. Sometimes it's hard because I don't get cultural references because I don't really, get into them. I'm on the up and up for the most part, but sometimes fucking don't understand what the fuck people are talking about and shit. Which is, by the way, hilarious. I believe that my lung is inflamed, by the way. Ah, Cult Priestess is here. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I would like to go on your live stream again, actually, if you want to. Yeah, Cult Priestess is pretty cool. Exe Valentine, why won't you talk about the Dutch election today? I was not aware that they were having an election. The left is surging in the Netherlands. Let me look that up. Let's see that. I was not aware that they were actually having an election today. I'll have to look more into that, actually, in order to weigh in. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. I used to think that revenge is a dish best served cold until I realized it actually means getting back at people. It's a dish that's best served by throwing a plate at somebody's head. The Dashing Rogue. People who use Snap might also be in low-income housing without a stove or fridge, hence why they buy junk. Also, it can be a cooking skill issue. Yeah, as somebody who could not cook competently until a few years ago, I can understand the pain, so to speak. Last beacon. It's always derangement. What things should call it conservative derangement? This is the part of the whole problem with the Democrats right now. I had to put up with these with George W. Bush and the rise of the Tea Party, and now with Trump. You are perpetually frustrated, my friend. Things are getting better. At the very least, there's hope now. With George W., yeah, hope my ass, basically. Revenge is a dish best served hot, as in you pour boiling water in somebody's face or something like that. Yeah, so Trump is now the king of Korea, I suppose, and this is going to be hilarious. Tomorrow, I guarantee that I'm going to be revisiting this news story because the left is going to go completely insane over this. Oh my god, he actually is making himself a king. He's got a crown and everything. Yeah, it's a replica and it's, faceted based on something historical. But for some bizarre reason, he's not allowed to accept it without becoming some sort of bizarre nobility or something like that. Then we've got this weird article. Bill Gates reverses course on climate change, says it will not lead to humanity's demise. This is a Fox article, and this is what I have cautioned people about. Fox is part of the legacy media. I do not like Bill Gates. I do not give a fuck about climate change. It means absolutely nothing to me. Climate's been changing for quite some time, especially since the Triassic period. That being said, though, this particular article misconstrues what he's saying completely. He's saying, oh, no, biological weapons or something like that are going to be the demise of mankind, so climate change is now on the back burner. That doesn't mean that he's not giving it importance, and it doesn't mean that he's against the climate change agenda, which has become something that is masterful, actually. It is very, very profitable to proclaim that you're about climate change. You can recycle things, sell all the junk to China, put it in a landfill, and make a lot of money. That's basically environmentalism these days. Nobody plants trees anymore. Nobody's picking up trash. It's rather sad when you think about it. But he hasn't really reversed course. It's more that he's just saying this is now a side issue because it's more profitable to talk about bioweapons in the wake of COVID and things like that. That's what Bill Gates is doing. Bill Gates is an idiot. He's a sophist, a smart idiot, so to speak. Cooking inferno, boiling water, or a nice splash of acid like they do in India. The latter is easier to plan and coordinate. Good idea. So, fuck Bill Gates. Stupid asshole. The Dashing Rogue. Oh, I already read that one. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. I used to think that revenge is... Oh, I read that one too. Oh, it wasn't loading. My apologies, everyone. Cyborg Dr. Phil. What to do if AOC becomes president? She won't. It's impossible for her to get elected. There is no possibility of an AOC presidency. Do not worry about that. Green Text Pro. A poll post dated October 19... Level 4 infectious disease specialist said some of the PCR results got flagged for coronavirus, but not SARS in eastern Canada. Can we nuance analyze that? It was domestic. I think that would be around the same time, yeah. It probably had spread by then. It was created in the biolab in Wuhan. We know that. Chang the janitor is the responsibility for this. It also appeared in Italy and several other places fairly early on. And when the contagion had begun to spread, a lot of people weren't talking about it. Like Pelosi said, we'll go party in Chinatown, and stuff like that. Some of us understood that the public reaction to a highly transmissible, although fairly innocuous, virus would be severe. And so I went out immediately to the stores and I'm like, fuck this shit. And I stocked up on, basic necessities, all of the food, the canned goods, the spices and so forth, to make sure that I could take care of my family. And I encouraged everyone else to do the same thing. I saw some fucking dude, he walks into the Albert Heijn. He's got a cardboard box on his chest with this weird, I don't know, a laundry filter or something attached to it. He's got a makeshift gas mask and berates me for having my cart too close to his and stuff like that. I warned people, it's not going to be the virus that's going to fuck you up. It's going to be the human response. And I was 100% right. It was a fun time, let me tell you. Fun time of eternal darkness. King of Biltong! Premium Biltong from Biltong, USA. High protein, keto friendly, no additives. US sourced beef, authentic South African flavor. Get some now at BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. And you also get Vegemite from them. Anton's one hell of a dude. Anton and his wife, some of my favorite clankers, just saying. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. Look up 3 monkeys escaped from wreck in Mississippi. Yes, there were lab monkeys, apparently. They had a wreck, and they did manage to disappear into the wild. We don't know what kind of experiments were done on them. How wonderful. It's almost like another epidemic waiting to happen. I don't think that that'll happen this time, but the possibility is still there. Green Text Pro, I believe it was created in labs in the USA. No, COVID was created in Wuhan. It was partially due to funding by a group that was directly associated with none other than Fauci himself, as well as Google. Obama visited this lab actually physically at one point. They just didn't look into it enough and say, oh, well, we built you this lab. We gave you the funding for it, basically. Now we should look into whether you're following security procedures. The answer was no, unfortunately. And so I believe that Chang the janitor took the lab samples and basically sold them in the wet market, and that's basically patient zero. Nobody's going to be sad when Anthony Fauci dies. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Why is everyone talking about AOC? Dude, I hate it when people are thirsty for AOC because it's like, okay, she's not ugly, but she's ugly inside. She doesn't have a good personality, so to speak. Last beacon. Oh, I know there's no such thing as perfect society, but there's always the lesser of two evils. And right now, the Democrats, as well as established Western liberal powers and hard left powers, have proven to be the greater evil. Well, I would agree with you on that point, yes. Yeah, it's funny when people are thirsty for AOC, it's like, why aren't you thirsty for Anna Luna? She's considerably more attractive, dude. Just saying, you know. Anna Luna, she would not be able to rape me because I would be willing. But AOC, she'd have to pin me down. Last beacon, violent video games, goddamn voice to text. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. What? Violent video games. You fucking up, my man. Arden Stellaris. Anna Luna is also retarded. No, she seems relatively intelligent, actually. Look, I like Latina women. What can I fucking say? Cooking Inferno. No OC will be sad when Fauci dies. Shit. Not least of which are the families of the AIDS victims that he did nothing for, and I'm still thirsty for Greta. Those tits. Alright, now you're gonna make me bulimic. But yeah, you're right. Fauci was involved with the AIDS response in the United States, and most people don't even remember this. There's a whole reel you can look up on YouTube or elsewhere where they were talking about the AIDS response, and Fauci completely fumbled it. He did a terrible job. It's like, well, if you don't get fucked in the ass, you won't get AIDS. Yeah, that worked really, really well. Nobody ever got it from contaminated needles or infusions or anything like that. That never happened. I meant the same violent video games in the last super chat, but again, voice to text is always going to be a bitch. And speaking of which, I managed to get me a PSN card because the House of the Dead 2 remake has been released and I want to play it. I've never actually seen it. I don't really play video games anymore. Although, I do want to play Napoleon Total War later. I want to do the Spanish Lake, and I want to run my troops up the hill. And hopefully this time, whoever I'm an ally with doesn't fuck up. I'm not choosing the French again. That's probably a bad idea. Tiffany Witherspoon. Did you hear of this ugly left-wing, very popular podcaster called Jennifer Weish is now calling for the murder of MAGA and high-ranking Dems? Yeah, it happens all the time. These people call for death all the time. It's the only thing that they think about. It's like, goddamn, dude. I mean, holy shit. Some of these people, they seem to ruminate on the concept of killing their enemies all of the time. Why don't you just become like a pagan Viking or something like that, you know? at the very least, it would be consistent. John Lincoln, hey Sticks, how are you? I am absolutely excellent today. Actually, today is one of the best days that I've had in a long time. I'll be eating some beef stew later. I get to do my live stream. I'm going to play some fucking video games. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. And I'm also almost done, actually, with a literary project, which is a sarcastic stories thing. You will love this, most of you. It is a series of ads and personals and things like that, sort of like the kind you would find in a newspaper, but they're made honest. And because they're honest, they are highly violent and filled with sexual intrigue and things like that. And so I'm going to be releasing this separately from Morbid Stories. Originally, I was going to do the next version of Morbid Stories, which I will release. It'll be probably available in a couple of days. It might be on Halloween, actually. I was going to release that, and then I was going to have an extra section with extra material. But then I realized it's getting too long. There's no way that I can possibly put it in a 6x9 format because it's going to have too many pages. So I had to take the last part off. And so I'm releasing that in a 5x8 separately. It should be about, 100 pages or something like that. So it'll be novella mode. And, yeah, I had a great time writing it. I'm almost done editing it. And it's already formatted. Everything else is fine. It's just that I've got to tinker with it a little bit. And then I've got to get the cover file. And then I will be able to release it. This, I think, will appease most of you. Basically, imagine 100 pages of ads and things like that that are sort of like The Onion more than anything else. It's basically like, this one ad is fuckity fuck. The next ad is, I want to fucking suck your dick. And the next ad is, I fucking hate myself. It's a little bit on the morbid side. That's why I was going to include it in Morbid Stories, but the problem is I ran out of room, so I had to release it separately. So, it'll be fucking funny. That's what I'm talking about. Last speaking, I swear to God, people are so fucking stupid. This is why I have less faith in the democratic system. I mean, sometimes I don't disagree with you. Cooking Inferno Sticks, on top of the joy of seeing Greta have a spastic orgasm, I also need to remind you to snap the nudes. Oh, Greta Thunberg had an orgasm on video? I would watch it just for humor's sake, I suppose. I'm not particularly interested. Last speaking. And all honesty here, this is why I believe that the West is always going to be having a grab bag. Argentina and Japan went right. Now it seems like some of the West seems to be going left. Thankfully, I do not believe this will be a long-term sort of thing. I believe that the West is going to go in the opposite direction. Believe it or not, I am back. For some reason, the tab closed. I don't know exactly what I did wrong, so, it happens. Trump drone strike sticks his house. No, Sigil, you wish. Ha ha ha. John Lincoln. It probably was that Nick Fuentes character. Oof, occult priestess. Just saying. You know. Moskovich, thought he got a page from BB for a second there. That can happen, but only if you're in the Levant region. His reach does not extend over here as much. Green Text Bro, shout out to Blissed History for getting his shit hacked by Indians. Do not redeem unfamiliar links, but you should eat Indian food. Yeah, Occult Priestess, please DM me. Do not redeem unfamiliar links. Yeah, this person asking you for a little bit of Bitcoin in order to give you $1,000 for your $10 investment might not actually be sincere. Believe it or not. Snakes Bleed Red, he's going to tell us how Ben Shapiro should be president now. No, Ben Shapiro should be castigated and sent to Madagascar or something like that, actually. Occult Priestess, I will slide into your DMs. That's what I'm talking about. Last speaking, never say it's impossible. I've lived through impossibilities before. Oh, I mean, it happens all the time, so, Dominic Anise. Styx is AI, and his hat isn't even real. Trust me, I saw it on Reddit. I wouldn't even be the least bit surprised if there were things on Reddit regarding me and being like a generated character or something. That wouldn't even surprise me because these people are crazy. Reddit is fundamentally retarded. 4chan is where it's at. That's what I'm talking about. Last beacon, always factor in human stupidity when dealing with democracy. That is a problem because people will tend to vote for retards if they're retarded. It's going to be a problem. The alternative, though, is that you have like a monarchy or a dictatorship or something. Maybe they're retarded too. So it becomes very, very difficult. My dad and my uncle are haranguing one another. They do this all the time. This is a commonplace in the Warwick household, by the way. Our family is not entirely normal. We are descended from people who deposed kings and things like that. It's very difficult to maintain order sometimes. Hey, monarch would be inbred. Yeah, that happens all the time. Broken Prophet, Sticks, horny on main. Anyways, I'm going to go offline briefly because I need to use the bathroom too. I will be back. We're at a little bit over an hour. Don't worry, I will return. And we will talk about more news. That's what I'm talking about. Because there's nothing else to do. Yeah. It's almost Halloween. We should probably do some Halloween news, actually, when I think about it. Like, hey, here's my costume. Oh, wait, that's right. I look perfectly normal on Halloween. Yeah, I look one of the Lost Boys or something like that. I'll be right back, everyone. All right, I am back. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Last weekend, that's why I hate humanity so much. The human response to COVID, this is why I have less faith in us preparing for a zombie virus. Well, if a real zombie virus comes, it'll pretty much destroy 99% of humanity. Ultimately, I think at some point the Chinese will probably take rabies and they will bioengineer it. And then that'll be a real big fucking problem. Rabitha. Tamed. The Styx Hexen chicks are always, so nice. Just saying. I like girls. Just saying. I know that this is politically incorrect these days because you're supposed to like dudes if you're a dude. Trump gets the crown from the South Koreans. I find this absolutely hysterical, by the way. We can check RCP. There might be... did the news switch over? Let me check for a second. Obama spurred global government censorship regime, but that's by Schellenberger. Have moderate Dems gone extinct on RCP with Sirius XM? The answer is yes, of course. Mamdani's New York infecting America. Yeah, I hope that it does. I hope that Mamdani's leftism, so further to the left than normal liberalism, I really am hoping that the Democratic Party is crazy enough to expect that to extrapolate to a federal platform. It will work in certain districts. New York City, AOC's district, certainly here in Vermont with Bernie Sanders. Go ahead, proliferate. I actually have no problem with that. I think that's a good idea. Because then the American people will be able to see you're nothing more than a bunch of fucking communists. When they realize that you're a bunch of communists, they will reject you. Now, this has already been rejected on a federal level over and over again. It's been happening for decades and decades. Go ahead. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, destroy your own political party. That's great. That's basically what they're aiming for. I don't even know what their strategy is at this point. I have a feeling that what we're seeing is the Democratic leadership is basically absent. So people that are out of touch and out of time, of course, to use the Hall & Oates reference, they're trying to lead the party, but they're failing. Basically, there is no leadership there. And so in the absence of any leadership, the far left has risen up. Now, I would have hoped that it would be the Union Dems, people from the right wing of the Democratic Party, and saying, look, basically the Democratic Party should be about workers' rights and things like that. That should be the main focus. But they're not getting that. Instead, they're getting a bunch of people from the very, very far left. Literal communists. AOC is a communist. Bernie Sanders is a communist. Mamdani is a communist. The Democrats have become the Communist Party of the United States. They no longer exist as a neoliberal bastion. Effectively, the old leadership is being washed away. And they're just a bunch of fucking commies, dude. It's really funny to see. I mean, it's what they deserve because they're the ones that are entertaining it. I feel sorry for the average Democratic voter having to vote between a communist and someone that they probably consider a Nazi. It's a little bit like Weimar Germany, actually. Cooking Inferno. Mamdani? Jesus, tap dancing Christ. Makes you wish for the good old days of McCarthy. Last weekend. And Fauci was Reagan's right-hand man for the AIDS crisis. Yes, Ronald Reagan is lionized unduly. Ronald Reagan made a lot of mistakes. Trump, thankfully, is not making so many of them. Rabitha, happy hump day. If only. Haha. What if they go all handmaiden fascist if Mamdani wins? Well, Mamdani will win. This is now effectively inevitable. He will probably win the election in New York City's mayoral race. Cuomo is, I believe, 15 points behind, and Sliwa, he's nowhere to be seen. He's like a 13 or something like that. So that's pretty much, it will happen. Mamdani, once he wins, will either follow through or he won't. Either way, he loses. He is going to be a one-termer. It's going to be very, very funny, by the way, to watch his downfall. Cooking Inferno! Hell, who would have thought that Escape from New York would become a documentary? You know, I've never actually watched that movie. I don't even know what it's about. Sigil, Moskovich, you got someone pregnant. Who hasn't? Last Beacon, and I remember when the right was the violent one. I swear to God, they're so goddamn psychotic. Yeah, I remember when the right wing, supposedly it was like all a bunch of Klan robes and, you know, assault rifles and stuff like that. Supposedly there was an enormous militia of Nazis that were ready to raise up. Of course, Nazis being socialists, but never mind, the nuance is completely lost on these people. Supposedly, they were going to rise up and kill everyone and just blow their brains out. Now it turns out that actually the left is arming up, quite literally. I mean, they're openly encouraging one another to grab their firearms and create some sort of weird left-wing U.S. militia, if that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't, but, you know, that's what they're actually claiming that they're going to do. Yeah, I've never seen Escape from New York. I've heard of it, but I have never actually seen it. Debbie, New York can only blame themselves. Corruption is the backbone of that place. Yeah, that's the thing. New York City is not a bad place to be. Actually, I had a great deal of fun when I was there. Saw the Mermaid Parade and everything else. Some of it's obviously left-leaning, but it's pretty cosmopolitan. Nobody really gives a shit. At the same time, though, it looks like the left is arming up for war more than anything else. So, I will be here with you. I will do my part, if that makes sense. Turtle's Toy Box. I think that the half-shekel coin with Trump on it seals the deal. He will build the third one. Oh, the third temple, I believe you are referring to. Drennan, so since it's Spooktober season, I want to hear everyone's favorite horror film. My go-to every single year on All Hallows Eve is Hocus Pocus. I don't care that it's a kid's film. Don't give a fucking shit. I will watch Hocus Pocus tomorrow. And a bunch of other shit too. Evil Dead. You've got Cabin Fever. Then you've got, well, I mean, yeah, Antichrist is a good film too. You've got all sorts of stuff. Black Moon. Sigil, don't you fucking talk to me that way. I'll ban you from the channel. I'm just joking. Hocus Pocus does not suck. Yeah, we might as well have like a Halloween spiel here too for a few minutes. Yeah, Hocus Pocus is a yearly tradition, Black Moon is something, I really, really like the movie. It's not technically horror at all, but it's really good. Ninth Gate, of course, is on the list. That's my second favorite film of all time, and my favorite horror film. I would say Brotherhood of the Wolf, but while that's my favorite film, it's not technically horror. I don't even know how to categorize it. Brotherhood of the Wolf, there's no way to categorize this fucking movie. Okay, is it horror? Kind of. Is it mystery? Yeah, kind of. Is it historical fiction? Yeah, kind of. Is it martial arts? Yeah, kind of. Pretty much, if you took every genre that you could have and you piled it into one movie and actually made it good, that would be Brotherhood of the Wolf. And that's the reason that I like that movie so much. Cooking Inferno, Hocus Pocus sucks. Should watch Lords of Salem instead. Great film. That's a good one. Yeah, I've seen that. But no, I'm team Hocus Pocus. Not the new one though. I refuse to watch it. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, dude. Chris Williams, what about Halloween 3? I don't think that I've seen it. I think the Halloween movies are good, but I don't think that I've seen Halloween 3, no. Copium Poppies, Sticks, idea for costume. Muhammad! So I strap a bomb around me and I go into a crowded place and blow myself up. Just saying. Sertorius, Ropus, Pocus. Tarred and Feathered, Young Frankenstein. Yes, that's definitely on the list. Shinny. Sticks, have you watched Brain Dead or Dead or Alive? Peter Jackson, very Evil Dead to Army of Darkness-ish. No, I've never actually heard of it. Peter Jackson making an Evil Dead style film, though? Yeah, that could work. That would work really well. Here, let me, Peter Jackson, Brain Dead. Horror comedy, Brain Dead film. Yeah, that sounds like it would be down my alley. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that later. Green Text Bro. Ballroom is the third temple. Ballroom. Screenshot this. Yeah, the term ball as opposed to actually having a ball are slightly different. Copium Poppies, have you seen the Conjuring movies and its spin-offs? The Annabelle and the Nun movies. I just saw the new one the other day at the theater and it was awesome. No, I don't think I've ever seen any of those, actually. I have heard of them. Last Beacon, also, what would be your favorite song that you can use as a troll theme? My current one is Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo. Well, if you want to use an Oingo Boingo song, you should use Little Girls, because it's a parody of the rich and elite and their pedophilia. And once the Oingo Boingo people realized that the rich and powerful were pedophiles, they decided to make a song about the subject. Turtles Toy Box, Ballroom Blitz. Yeah, absolutely. Good song. It's a Ballroom Blitz. Jeremy Briggs, The Bauhaus. Yes, indeed. I like the Bauhaus very much. She's in parties. Yeah. By the way, I wanted to ask people. I was trying to query Grok the other day, and they did lead me to a couple of songs that were close to it, but I was unable to find the original song. There was a song that was on VH1 I love the 80s. Years and years ago, it would have been 2005 or something like that. And I can't remember any of the lyrics from the song. I just know that it was a boy band. It consisted of, I believe, 4 white males. And it was a new romantic song of sorts with a slightly gothy overtone. But I cannot find it. I've been looking for it for about 20 years. If anyone can supply me with the song, yes, I would be exceptionally and incredibly happy about this. I've been trying to find it. I mean, I just don't know what the fucking name of the song is, and I don't know what the fucking band is. Grok suggested The Cure. Now, there was a song that was close to it, but it wasn't the actual song. Then there was another band called, yeah, I'd have to consult Grok. Started with an L, and it was more of an obscure band, and it was close, but it wasn't actually the song. And so it's an obscure 80s band, new romantic / vaguely gothic, male only. There were no females in the band. And it had a very, very strange chorus to it. And I remember this chorus even 20 years later. So I've been trying to find it ever since. Yeah, 359 Cuban. I should hope a boy band was males. Yeah, okay. We get it, dude. Speaking of which, we have Brain Dead and Dead Alive. I kick ass for the Lord. Cooking Inferno, of course you never have seen my the Conjuring movies. You refused my invitation to join my group to stay overnight at the Warrens' house with full access to the museum. Copium, you should binge watch the movies on Halloween. Probably will. When I'm watching movies, though, really, I kind of like to do it alone, if that makes sense. Some people like more of the community experience sort of thing. I just like to watch them on my own. Roger Dodger, minorities are not considered Americans by right. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. I plan on watching both Hellraiser 1 and 2 tonight. Yeah, I've never seen Hellraiser either, although I've heard good things about the movies. Didn't Ron Perlman star in Hellraiser? I think. I could have thought it was Ron Perlman. He's blocked me on Twitter, by the way. I kept making, shit references to him. Oh, yeah, that was Hellboy, not Hellraiser. Oh, yeah, Hellraiser is the one with Pinhead and stuff like that. I got him mixed up. What can I say? I'm not a huge movie aficionado. I do like to watch films sometimes, but yeah, sometimes you get them wrong. Snakes bleed red. Sticks, you of all people? What the fuck? You have not seen Hellraiser? What the fuck are you doing, dude? No, I got the title mixed up with Hellboy, actually, unfortunately. I have actually watched that, although I would really, really love to rewatch it, because it was a good movie. Stop crying, it's a waste of good suffering. Yeah. The Northern Gentleman, was Mustache Man right? Depends on which one. People back in the day, they all tended to have mustaches. Is Mustache Man right? Yeah, I'd say yes. Yeah, Sign of Jonah. I think you're thinking of Ron Perlman, the Neanderthal from that one movie that they did back in the, I think it was the early '90s, and he played like the stupidest Neanderthal in the group. And it was really funny. I had no clue it was Ron Perlman. Years later, I'm on Twitter. I'm fucking trolling around, taking 4chan memes. Like Ron Perlman said that he pissed on his hand before he shook the hand of, who the fuck was it? That one pedophile? Not Epstein. The other one. I can't remember his name. But he said he pissed on his hand before he shook his hand, and people were pointing out this is insane. It makes no sense. And then people just built on this meme, and so they had like references to him shitting in his water system and drinking his own diarrhea and weird shit like that. Yes, Weinstein. It was Weinstein specifically. And so, I mean, I've got like probably 100 memes of Perlman that were posted at the time. Then I trained my parrot to shit on people's heads. I'm going to deploy it today. And it was always with Trump derangement syndrome. So it's like, you know, what do you think about that, little Ronnie Donnie and stuff like that? It was hysterical. Oh my God, I had such a great time. In fact, I want to post one right now. Yeah, why not? Yeah, who cares? Let's see. Is there a possibility of posting an actual comment here that has something attached to it? I'm not 100% sure. Chuck Flea. Sticks endorsed fascism. Yeah, Heil Hitler, you know? I mean, what else are you gonna do, dude? At this point, if you have the wrong food choice, you are considered a Nazi. Since it's gone so far beyond and has become so goddamn ludicrous, you might as well just declare yourself to be a Nazi at this point. Might as well, because the left wing has gone so insane that if you have any conservative tendency at all, you're a Nazi. Well, then the Nazis won World War II. I mean, 99% of the world's population is fucking Nazis. We can't escape them. What are we supposed to fucking do? We're being overwhelmed by Nazis. This has happened multiple times. I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to plop the file in here. I'm not sure that I can actually post it. Yeah, whatever. Cooking Inferno, those Weinstein chicks. For God's sake, had none of them ever heard what the casting couch is about? Shaking my damn head. Yeah, in Weinstein's case, it was mostly just, hey, basically, you put out for me, you get a role. And it was nothing more than that. But in other cases, it's much more abusive than that. It's not, hey, I give you $1 million and a Corvette, and you just suck my cock. In some of the other cases, it's more like, hey, you're 17 years old. Hey, I can get you a role. You know, you just have to fuck me for the rest of the night and stuff like that, and then I'll get you a bit role. Yay. Something like that. There's a difference between the two of these things. John Lincoln, can't you share your screen? I can, but it would be difficult to do so. StreamYard is not exactly as it used to be, unfortunately. One-man armies, pirate. Well, Styx turns out my NCO in the army might have been a closeted gay guy in the army who felt attached towards me and used abusive leadership on me. His name was Kevin O'Brien. I'm gonna need a drink. That sounds like something you need to file a lawsuit about, if that's true. That does happen. There is abuse in the military, just like there is in corporations. Turtle's Toy Box. Man, I need some of whatever Styx is on. I won't take mine until after dinner, though. Hashtag boundaries. I am actually completely sober. Uh, um, hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to actually fucking post this. Yeah, I don't think that I can pin a file. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to be listening to some music in a little bit, so I'm going to let you all go. And I will be back tomorrow. All Hallows Eve. Yes, indeed. One of the best days of the fucking year. And we will be back. And probably next time with a little bit of food on the side because I'm starting to get hungry, actually. So, we'll do the thing. And it'll be fun. Yes, indeed, my friend. Yeah, we're gonna form an army of pirates. Fuck the whole world. Gonna get your murder case. Gonna murder the race. Good night. That's about all. Peace out.